Emotional hardcore, also known as emo core, or most commonly just known as emo, is a subgenre of post-hardcore that originated in the DC scene in the mid-80s with bands such as Rite to Spring and Embrace. And the genre has grown and evolved a lot since that time, and I wanted to go over a few albums that I thought would help people who aren't as familiar with the genre to get into it. I was going to go over these albums in an order of more like not as hardcore to more extreme version of the genre, which would be known as Screamo. So let's go ahead and start with the first one. I've got Brand New's The Devil and God Rage Inside Me, Are Raging Inside Me. I think this is a great beginner record because it's not as extreme, like I was saying, as some of the later stuff, and good album to just start with. And most people know about this, I'm pretty sure, but yeah, it's good early to mid 2000s sound that came about. The next one, we've got Promise Ring. Nothing Feels Good. This is a good 90s, late 90s style of the emo music that I think is good to start with as well, because it's not as hardcore, and but it starts bringing in more heavier elements than the last album I just talked about. And then next we've got Minerals, The Power of Failing. I think this is one of my favorites from the 90s. It came out in the 95s, the mid-90s. It gets more of the intense vocals and more intense guitars and instrumentation, and will kind of warm you up more to the later albums that I have here. And starting the more later albums, I've got Thursday's Full Collapse. I really got into this a few years ago, and this definitely starts bringing in that instrumentation, that harder instrumentation, like the Mineral album, but it starts incorporating more of the intense vocals, like the screaming vocals, and so I'd consider this more of a Screamo album, but it still has some lighter vocals in it, so it's a good one to kind of warm you up to these last two albums that I have here. The first of those is Sous La Lune. It's called Riala. It's a French band, I believe. I found out about them, actually, interesting story is I was working at Panera Bread, and one of the women I was working with there asked if I was into emo Screamo music. I said, yeah, and she recommended this to me, and I think that's kind of what opened the door to this type of music again. And this is a great album. It came out in 2012, so this is a later version of how it really shows how it's evolved into what it is now. And this is probably my favorite style of this type of music, even though I love all these other albums, but I just love the intense, dark stuff, and that's what this brings, is heavy vocals, heavy instrumentation even, and it just, everything gets put together so well. I think this is a great one to get into if you're looking for a more Screamo and intense journey. And then the last album I've got is Pianos Become the Teeth, Old Pride. This is their first album. They've kind of skewed away from their style of their first two albums, but this album still blows me away. It's really incredible. Screamo album is really packs a punch emotionally, and the vocals are very intense, and instrumentation is incredible as well, very hard hitting, and I even see like elements of black metal in this music, and that is one of the most intriguing sounds I've ever heard in music in my life, so it's really cool hearing that and incorporated into this album. So yeah, those are the 6 albums I recommend. Hopefully I'll plan on doing this with other genres down the road as well, so hopefully you like this video. yeah, so if you're looking to get into this stuff, there's some albums that might help you out. So thanks for watching. Comment down below anything, your thoughts, and see you next time.